Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is James from, or also as a name I put up here, Joke Lion. Um, Today I thought I would discuss today's election day. As you can see, I've already voted for who I voted for. I'll tell you this: I'm watching it right now. I thought I'd give it a nice little channel. Um, we're talking about the elections here, and I talk about different things. I'm gonna start talking about different things on this channel. Have some fun with it. Today is election day, so I thought maybe we'll discuss some of the things that I've actually been seeing in the elections. I'm watching CNN right now until I'm able to go to work. So I'll probably be here for about another hour, maybe 2 hours, talking about whatever I see coming off the TV and discuss some of the things that I've actually been seeing from the see if I can tell anything different from 2016 to 2020. If for all you guys that don't know, I actually went and did a research back in August about back on the 2016 elections, and I based it off of it because there's a lot of counties, especially I live here in the state of Nevada, and here in the state of Nevada, everybody saw it as going blue state. It went a blue state for Hillary Clinton in 2016. But when you this is what I wanted to say. If you broke it down by counties, hold on, I got a little hair. God darn it. It's tickling me. If you broke it down by counties, I will tell you this. There's 17 counties in the state of Nevada. Only 2 counties voted for Hillary Clinton, which brought me to the conclusion that a lot of small towns, no matter where you're from, are Republican towns, and the cities are much more Democratic, which it all depends on the turnout. Okay, now here's an ESPN, or no, not ESPN, CNN's got some exit polls. Here's one of them that's coming live on TV. The most important issue to your vote: the economy, racial inequality, coronavirus, crime and safety, healthcare policy. Over 34% said it was economy. Most people think the economy is good right now, and about 35% think it's good, 32% says it's not good. The economy being good is a good thing for Donald Trump. I'm going to be saying that right now. Has the coronavirus, it created financial hardship. 55% of the people created financial hardship because of the fact that not only do you have to pay hospital bills, but a lot of people didn't have to be locked down and stay at home. Of course, it's going to be better because they got a stimulus package. They're going through a lot of these exit polls, and like I said, looking at the economy, a lot of these questions are coming up. They're talking about the economy being one of the most number one concerns in the state right now, or in the United States, and a lot of people saying it's good to maybe 13% excellent, 35% say it's good, 32% says not so good, which is really concerning because the fact is, for all these people to, I'm going to say here in the state of Nevada, a lot of the unions usually vote Democrat, but the Democrat Party, especially with our governor being Democrat, being on a lot of the casinos, which is the primary employment of this particular state, is one of the biggest employments of the state. They basically, and what they're showing is the biggest unemployment rate in the United States happened to be Nevada, because so many people, Nevada is mostly a tourist state. So many people lost their jobs working at the casinos because they shut down the casinos as they were non-essential places. Well, when people get their jobs shut down, And now they're not getting, and they ended July, I think it was July 31st, they ended the extra $600 a week paychecks. They basically became a little bit better. And a lot of people are like, they go back, but like me, I worked at a casino here in Las Vegas. Now I live here in Reno. And Las Vegas, they turned around and they ended up, a lot of people didn't go back like me. I didn't go back to my job because even when the casinos opened in June, a lot of people couldn't go back to work because the tourism wasn't there. A lot of people were too afraid to go out. So a lot of people still don't have jobs. And finally, like me, I just said, forget it. I'm done. I got to go find another place I got to go to work. A lot of people ask me, are you afraid of the coronavirus? I said, no, I'm not. Personally, I'm not. If I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, I don't. I'm not afraid to step outside for a virus because I thought of it this way. There's only two options. I'm either going to live through it or I'm going to die and not have to worry about it again. I keep like a positive attitude when it comes to situations like that. It's just the fact I want to see a lot of these states. I'm looking at some of these states that just turned, and Nevada is one of those states that I'm looking at real heavily because the fact is there's a lot of different. I was watching this thing and they said a lot of people are turning out, a lot of older Republican voters voted for Joe Biden now, but it's kind of reversed now. A lot of the Latinos and the blacks that are voting, that usually vote Democrat, are voting for Donald Trump now because they've seen, and I've always wanted to say something about that. It's just, I always told people, they say, well, why do you want to vote for a racist? I said, well, you know what? Not to be mean. I've heard Joe Biden say some racist things too, especially this year. And it's one of those things that I say, if you don't want to vote racism for a racist person, then go libertarian, go Green Party, go independent. But unfortunately, with the system that we're in today, we actually have, there's only going to be a winner from one of the two parties, because the fact is, if you look at it, a lot of people look at it and go like this. They said, well, why not? There is other voters. Yeah, but you basically are throwing your vote away because in the end, one of those two candidates are going to win because they're going to get the most votes. There's few states that don't even put a third party on the ballot, which is quite bad, but that's why they narrow it down and then they have them campaign. Personally, I have voted in, this will be my fifth presidential election I have voted in. And so far, I'm 3-1 in picking the right president, choosing the winning president, and I'm 3-1 voting Republican. For all you guys don't know, I voted Donald Trump today. I didn't the last vote due to the fact is I do a lot of moving. I started in Las Vegas when I got here. I left in July to move to Goldfield. Left in September to move up here to do some work in Reno. And actually, it's one of those things that I actually want to say that it's interesting to watch a lot of these things come through. But this is a very important election. A lot of people are looking at these election polls and saying that hold on one sec. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just typing something. But like I said, I got some polls here. And what I said is it's with some of these polls that are coming out, a lot of the elections, like I said, I looked at the electoral votes this year, or from 2016. I did a breakdown. And during 2016, I went through, I said, okay, I based it off of counties. And I said, you know what, if we did our electoral votes based on who won the most counties in the state, Donald Trump would have, and I came through the votes and I said, Donald Trump came through big time. So what I do is we're talking about a lot of the elections and a lot of the polls. I know everybody, for some reason, popular vote is great and all that, but popular vote does not count. It counts by electoral votes, because if we were going by popular vote, then the city of Los Angeles would literally have more poll than pretty much, I would say, about 17 states. Literally, that's how big Los Angeles is compared to a lot of the states. So a city, they wanted to make sure that the city did not, one particular location did not overpower a presidential campaign. And I'm going to say this. I tell people this all the time. I'm looking at some, like I said, I'm looking at the CNN reports. I honestly think it's going to be a contested one. I mean, we might not get to know who won the presidency until probably with 2 to 3 days, due to the fact is that it's there's a lot of things going on. But I kid you not, I was looking at the county breakdowns from 2016, and a lot of people, it wasn't that the electoral colleges actually helped out the Democrats mostly, because the electoral college actually went, Trump won at 306 to 232. And if we were going by counties and whoever won the most counties got the votes from that state, Trump would have won it for another 131 votes out of Hillary Clinton that year. So I literally have him win. He won 2,104 more counties than Hillary Clinton did. I mean, Hillary Clinton only had 485 counties that voted for her, when Donald Trump had 2,589. So that's actually, if that's including Alaska, really doesn't have counties, so they consider it. I consider that one, and Louisiana has parishes, which I consider them each counties. So breaking it down, like I said, I'm breaking it down to the point where I'm watching a lot of these things go on, and they were talking about, they had one question on here that they said, for Trump voters, did you vote for him because he was your candidate, or do you vote for him because did you vote for him because you don't like the other candidate? And they did that with Biden's votes too. And it was funny because Trump was like, it was like 81% said it was my candidate. 14% said they did it just because they don't like Biden. They actually said it with Biden. He was like 60% was his candidate. 31% was because they didn't like Trump. That was interesting because I kid you not, if it was 2016, it would have been flipped. I'm sorry, it would have been flipped because more people did not like Hillary. I can tell you right now, a lot of people did not like Hillary Clinton. I'm for one of them. I voted for Donald Trump just because I didn't like Hillary Clinton. But seeing what Donald Trump has done these years, I'm going to say I've actually am pretty much with what he's been put through since day one. They've been trying to attack him, trying to discredit his presidency, not my president kind of thing. But I'm going to say this. Whoever wins tonight, it really, honestly, I don't think it's going to matter because I think if Biden wins, a lot of places are going to be shut down. We're going to get back to being shut down again because he's already said the only way to control this virus is to keep people at home. No, and that's why I took the job I did. I actually, it's an essential job, so I took it so that way I can work. No matter what breaks down. And I think of it this way. It's just one of those things that hold on. Let's see. All right. And if you're watching this video, I really appreciate it because the fact is it's one. Hold on. Somebody's texting me. All right. Yeah, they're saying right now on CNN headline, and I don't really watch CNN because the fact is CNN is one of those channels that I really don't like because the fact is there's a lot of states that hold on. It's just one of those things that I enjoy it. And they're talking about how a lot of people are I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be an interesting election. I'm watching it right now. They're looking at a lot of battleground states like Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania's got that one. Pennsylvania's got the fracking thing. And Joe Biden's already said there will be no more fracking because it's harmful for the environment. And there's a lot of places in Pennsylvania that actually use the fracking. Welcome to the channel, whoever showed up. I believe it's my boy, my buddy Jesse. If you're there, hit me up. Like I said, I actually got the TV right in this direction. I'm watching the electoral votes for the discussions. We're looking at a lot of different things. There's a lot of things in factor according. Not much, brother. The discussion, like I said, this channel, if you can find some more people, we'll have I like to do these little discussions. This is my channel. For sports, for games, for news. Like I said, I don't really watch the news very often. But today was actually one of those days I actually decided to my vote. I decided to vote last minute. I was up about that time. So I got my vote in about 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning. Was able to get that taken care of. But yeah, I'm gonna be discussing. So, and it's funny because I've been watching a lot of the different things going on, and especially here in 2020, we've been a lot of the news, and a lot of the the campaigning for the Democrats. All right, let's see. We got some exit polls here from CNN, and they're going to be talking. Let's see. Most important to presidential vote, candidate's position on issues, candidate's personal quality. Oh, hold on. Yeah, get off of there. Yeah, candidate's position on issues. So, it's not like the personal quality, like everybody, if on Obamacare, should the Supreme Court keep it as it is or overturn it? Personally, let's see. 53% said keep it as it is. You know what? It depends. In vote for president, Supreme Court appointments were an important factor. 61%. These are a lot of exit polls that people are going through. And climate change a serious problem? 66% say yes. Climate change is going to happen even with or without us, not to be mean on this part. The view of federal government, 32%. The most is 32% is dissatisfied. 26% is angry. And that's not just the presidency. That's Congress in itself. Yeah, it's going to be a very good election, Jesse. It's just one of those things. It's going to be. I honestly think that. Yeah, I did too. I voted for Trump. I've been pretty much advocating that Trump since I voted for him in 2016. I really didn't like him in 2016 more than now. I really appreciate what he's done for the country so far. But it's one of those things that Trump is there's a lot of things, and mind you, here's the funny thing. Even CNN was saying that there's a lot of white older generations that have turned away from their Republican side and voted Democrat for Joe Biden. But it's funny how they go, but it's real shocking that a lot of the African American and the Latino American voters, a lot more are voting for Trump this time around than usual. And you think about it, because the Democrats wanted to keep pushing that Trump is a racist and everything, yet more people are voting. I just heard this week that 50 Cent and Lil Wayne has just offered their support for Donald Trump and endorsed Donald Trump. And I went like this. I was like, this is kind of ironic, because the fact is, back in August, I was always talking about different cultures and interests. And I was saw this news article that came up with Joe Biden. And it said that he was doing a podcast with Charlamagne tha God. Now, for all of you out there that don't know, Charlamagne tha God is a black rapper. He also does his own podcast. And he gave Joe Biden some very tough questions for him to answer. And Joe Biden seems to like it the easy way. He wants the questions he's already planned for. He's got the questions for it. He likes to be politically correct, which he's a politician. Of course, he's going to be politically correct. That's why I like Donald Trump, because he's not politically correct. He says it just like it is. What he says, whether you agree with him or not, he says it like he wants to say it. And which he's not afraid. He's strong in his convictions, which I like about him. Another thing is Donald Trump, or Joe Biden, literally was asked by Charlamagne tha God, are you gonna come back for some more questions? We got some more questions to ask you. And this was back in I think July or August. And Joe Biden, I guess, was upset with the questions that he was being asked. And that last question pushed him over the top, where he goes, if you do not know who you're voting for between me or Trump, then you ain't black. Which I thought that was pretty much a very racist remark that he could have said, because it basically told me that he thinks that blacks they might not be physically slaves, but he sees a mental slavery when they said blacks should only vote for Democrat. Which I believe a lot of black, and I've talked to a few blacks, and they said, you know what, that's actually kind of true. That we do have a right to choose whoever we want to choose. Why should we be destined to vote Democrat? And I had to look it up, and I actually will say this: there's a lot of things that a lot of the teachings, the school teachings, won't teach you. That it was a Republican president that abolished slavery in Abraham Lincoln, and it was a Southern Democrat that actually shot him, or one that was supported by Southern Democrats. The KKK was actually founded to stop Republicans from creating equal rights. And that's coming from the History Channel. So I'm not just making this stuff up. I'm actually went and looked. If you want to look at the foundation of KKK and look it up, and it will on the history.com, and it will show you that the Republicans were trying to bring equality to everyone back in the 1870s. And yet it was the Democrats that didn't vote on the 14th or the 15th Amendment, and it was the Democrats that were the KKK was attacking not just black Republican leaders back then. They were attacking white Republican leaders and getting everybody scared to vote Democrat in the South. So it's a lot of people, like a lot of these questions right now, we're going to have some polls. The first polls are closing in about 5 minutes. So we're going to be actually having some good conversations. And for those that are if you're watching this video, if you're watching live, I don't know, a lot of people didn't show up. If you didn't show up, I'm telling you, I actually went through the 2016 election, and I divided it by counties. And you would be surprised at how many each county. I went through, there's over 3,000 counties in the United States, including parishes in Louisiana, and considering Alaska is just one big county. Because I can't figure out then when I looked at Politico, they didn't even have the county up. They just said Alaska. So it's kind of one of those questions. But I looked at it and I said, you know what? The actual election with electoral votes was Trump won it 306 to 232 last year, or the last election. And going by counties, he blew out all the counties. He actually won 2,104 more counties than Hillary Clinton did. So if we were going by counties and given this, if he won the county in the state, whoever won the most got the electoral votes. Trump would have got an extra 131 counties from the Democrat, or 131 electoral votes from the counties, because there was actually 13 states that went Democrat that I believe should have went Republican, because based on the counties and states, like right here in the state of Nevada, they were a blue state. State of Nevada went blue state, but the only reason why they went blue state, and it tells me a lot of people want to talk about how there's a racial divide in the United States, and because of all the politics and everything in the mainstream media and everything like that. This right here shows me there's a bigger divide. And it's Nevada. Last year in 2016, everybody shows Nevada is a blue state, but Trump won 15 out of 17 counties. The only two counties that did not vote for Donald Trump, or did not get a majority of Donald Trump's and went Hillary Clinton, was Clark and Washoe County, which happens to be Las Vegas and Reno, respectively, and their surrounding areas, which led me to believe that big cities are much more liberal, while the smaller communities, the smaller towns are much more conservative. So there's the divide right there. And one reason why Hillary Clinton, I believe, didn't win the electoral votes or win the votes like she wanted to, was because that during the Democratic national debate back in 2016 against Bernie Sanders, they were debating on wages, and she literally declared live on TV that people in big cities deserve $15 an hour, while people in small towns deserve a lot of small town people, to the point where they go, all right, we already know who we're voted for. They went against Hillary Clinton. That's why I think a lot of the polls, and a lot of these polls where they say Joe Biden's in the lead, they're polling people in cities. They're not going out into the country and saying, hey, can we do this poll for you? Because a lot of people were like, no, probably. So it's gotten to that point where we're getting to the point where we're getting the first elections or electoral votes in. And we're going to see how these battleground states won. The first big round of polls have closed or happening now. Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia. Like I said, I'll probably be here for maybe another hour, maybe an hour and a half, but just before I have to get ready for work tonight. Okay, 60 are at stake. Now, everybody knows that Democrats pretty much have 55. I'm going to tell you this. Democrats have pretty much 55 votes in their pocket with the state of California. The most votes that any state has is 55. Texas is behind them with 38, with Florida and New York both have 29. Illinois and Pennsylvania both have 20. And then Ohio, Georgia, Michigan, and North Carolina all have 18, 16, 16, and 15, respectively. Now, out of all those states, those top 10 states, Trump won 7 of them. I believe he should have won 9 of them because I think New York and Illinois only won because of their major cities. So it's gotten to that point. So 7 p.m. Eastern time. First statewide polls are closing. So they're going to do the so pretty much we've already had the polls closed in those 6 states that I just said. Okay, yeah, a lot of Florida, or Biden is trying to get a lot of people from Florida. They said Florida, North Carolina, Georgia are the biggest challenges tonight. Those southern states with more, like I said, and pretty much what I was saying, 29, 16, and 15, or North Carolina's got 15, Georgia's got 16, Florida's got 29. If they can get those votes, then those are a lot of electoral votes that they can get in that situation. So those Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia are the first ones to close. They should be closing in the next hour. Okay. I forgot to actually close my change my clock. So I'm looking at a clock that says 4:03 when it should be 3:03 on my alarm clock. So it's but yeah, it's one of those interesting factors that I always try to tell people. I say, you know what? We're talking about the political stances, and it's going to be a tight race. I really do think Joe Biden, and all them. I think the coronavirus actually helped the Biden campaign, because I think Trump would have won it with the landslide, but I think because of how so many people have died and how Trump, it's almost like the coronavirus for Trump was the same way as Hurricane Katrina was for Bush Jr. How many people voted for president? 53% female, 47% males. A lot more females are coming out, basically. I did an in-person vote. A lot of people were like, why would you do that? Because I was like this. I was like, you know what? I want to make sure my vote counts. I don't want to sit. And I moved a lot this year. So it's kind of one of those things that I had to go through, and I said, you know what? I wasn't going to, because I lived in Vegas and then I moved to Goldfield and then I moved to Reno. 65% of the people were white, 13% Latinos, 12% Black, 6% something else, and 3% Asian. You know what? That's a lot of people. The drop in the share of white votes, it was 71 last time. That's what they're saying, is it's 71 last time. Yeah, I'm right there. I'm like age breakdown. Still 45. They are doing an age breakdown. 45 to 64 has the most votes so far at 38%. I'm in the 23%, the 30 through 44 range is 23%, and 18 through 29 is 60. College graduates, 45%, no college degree, 55%. Well, that right there, I'm going to tell you, is probably a bad poll for the Democrats, because the fact is a lot more college educated kids vote for a lot of college educations do vote Democrat compared to Republicans, because of course I was looking at a guy that was doing a sport. He does sports betting. I've got one of his channels here on YouTube. He was actually talking about how some places it's just the culture of bigger cities. Like he went through Baltimore and asked them, they said, "Why do you vote Democrat?" He goes, "Because I'm not a Southern redneck." So they attribute Republicans to Southern rednecks and small town and all that. But I told him this. I said, you know what? When it comes to education, I'm going to say this. It's a lot of people do their research. And you know what? It's still 38-35 Democrat, Republican, but it's a 10% for uneducated voters. And they've always been saying educated voter, people that have a college degree usually vote Democrat, because most of the teachers in colleges are Democrat. And because I actually had to look it up. There's an article in March, I think it was the Washington Post I read, that said, I literally typed in, why do Democrats and Republicans hate each other? And somebody actually did an article on it. And I read a little bit of the article, and they said between non-educated Republicans and educated Republicans, which means basically they don't talk about they talk about how education, college level education. They're not talking about like, did he only have a 5th grade education? No, they were talking about college educations. And it got to the point where a college education was the factor. And they said, if you look at the Republicans that had an education versus a non-college education, there wasn't really much of a difference on how they stand or their viewpoints politically. They were willing to listen. A lot of them were willing to listen. Now, but on the Democrat side, it was a far jump. I mean, you had non-educated Democrats that were willing to listen to another party. The educated Democrat side, there was very few that they polled that said, I would listen to the other side. These Democrats were like, no. We know what's true, and that's it. They don't want to listen. And that's where the division, I believe, is there's no community. The Democrats do not want to listen. They think they're right and all that. I honestly think I really think Florida is going to be a crucial one, because I think Miami, from what I've been seeing on a lot of the videos and stuff like that, a lot of people want to talk about how Florida is one of those battleground states that a lot of people don't know. I think Donald Trump, I honestly think that Florida is going to surprise people, because a lot of the people in Miami, there's a lot of Latinos, like Cubans and all that. The Democrats have been on the communism way side. They've been on the communism way side. And they're trying to do a poll where they show, okay, if Trump wins Nevada, Colorado, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, and Vermont, he wins it. There's no way Trump was going to get it. I was like, you know what? the thing is I honestly think that, like I was saying about Florida, those Cubans and there's a lot of Cubans, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans, there's a lot of, well, not Puerto Ricans since they got American property, um, Venezuelans, Colombians that left their country because it was a communist country. And they know how communism works and they don't like it. So they moved to the United States where it's a little bit more of a republic than a democracy. And I honestly think he's going to win, or Trump's going to win Florida based on the number of Latino votes that are going to come in, especially in Miami, because Miami, I think, is one of those cities that is going to be much more, they're converting more to the Republican, though, side than anything. Honestly, I honestly believe a lot of the issues that had it have this diverted people different directions. So I really want to see, I think Pennsylvania is going to be a big state. Minnesota, I think, is going to be a big state. That's going to swing the polls. I really do. I really think this is going to be an interesting election. They're showing that basically if Donald Trump loses Michigan, he'll still get 290 votes, which he needs 270 to win. And if he takes Florida, takes Pennsylvania, he can still win. It's those northern states. I honestly not. It's still just one of those things. I really want to see Trump try, because these elections, like I said, whether the people like it or not, I actually believe it's going to be a tighter race because there's so many people. I actually watched Leo Terrell, who happens to be a black civil rights attorney, back in July, just say, I'm endorsing Trump. Because a lot of these states, like he said, a lot of these states like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Arizona could help win Trump the elections. I honestly think Nevada will win. It's going to be a lot closer, but I think Nevada will go Democrat again. They're pushing very heavily. As a matter of fact, when I went to go do the poll myself, there was no Trump supporters out there, but there was a Biden-Harris booth right there in front of the library. I walked right by it. But personally, I think of it this way. I think it's going to be an interesting race. I mean, I really want to see, okay. Yeah, the Senate, not only is the presidential election going on, but the Senate race is going on too. So I believe that the Senate actually, we need more. The House is already Democrat biased. We have a Senate that's been Republican biased the last 6 years. I think that what they're going to do is if the Republicans win the Senate, that helps out because Congress can go, the House can, bills always go through the House and then go through the Senate. Democrats could try to push their way through the House. That's why I think Amy Coney Barrett actually got elected into or to be the Supreme Court justice as fast as she did, is because of the fact is Supreme Courts go, any Supreme Court thing goes to the Senate, not the House. So with the Senate being basically Republican biased, it helped out the cause of the Trump. Trump's got three. Now he's got three justices he's put in there. And one of them happens, Amy, if I'm not mistaken, she's in her 40s. So she's not planning on dying anytime soon from what I've known. But it's going to be It's going to be interesting. I really believe it is. Yeah, it's too up in the air because the fact is, like I said, I think this is that coronavirus was Trump's Katrina. Basically, Katrina hurt Bush and the Republicans. I think this one's it might hurt them, but I don't think Joe Biden actually has enough pull. I mean, yeah, he was the former vice president, but it was one thing I thought was funny when he said something about during all the riots, he was saying something and said, Trump, and he's like, oh, these riots never happened during my event. Did somebody forget about Trayvon Martin? That happened during the Obama-Biden administration. A few others happened for Obama and Biden administration. A lot of riots, a lot of BLM riots. And that's one thing it's funny when they overlook those. They like to show what's at fault one way and they overlook the others. That's why I said, come on. All right, key race alert. Let's see. Too early to call. Indeed. Okay, we're looking at a lot of the polls being counted right now. Donald Trump's ahead of Joe Biden 68-3 or 68.3 in Indiana. Indiana's got 11 votes, so that's pretty much good right there. Indiana went Republican last election, so he's holding that state pretty well. 68.3 to 29.7 of the votes so far are in the state of Indiana. Gave out 10,000 votes. He's got about 6,800, somewhere around there. So Indiana's votes are coming in right now. They're counting them, which is pretty much good. So far, one of the poll, and this is just one of the counties inside Indiana. The reason why they're doing that is because one of the counties inside Indiana has voted or closed their polls, which I think what they got to do is Indianapolis has got to I think Indianapolis is going to probably be the only county that maybe go Democrat that year. Indiana's been, they're showing it. They say Indiana's been Republican the last 2 years. I don't see them changing. The whole Jacob Blake thing might hurt them in Wisconsin. Indiana and Kentucky. Okay. So they're up to, all right, they just updated the polls in 14,000 compared to 6,000 for the early polls are showing another early poll up towards Michigan, which is kind of good because Michigan and Ohio are battleground states, and one of them actually has closed. So president in suburban counties, so far in suburban counties, it's going to be tough. It really is. All right, let's see. 1 second. Let's see what we got here. Looks like some places in Kentucky are closing. So let's see. What's Kentucky? How many does Kentucky have? If Indiana's got 11, Kentucky has 8. So that's only about 19 votes right there that might impact. So far, Kentucky Now, like I said, I did the polls though from 2016. There was literally two states that won every single county. Now, one of them I understood. Oklahoma, there's 77 counties in Oklahoma, and all 77 counties actually voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 election. The one I'm surprised about was I'm a little bit surprised about because there's some counties that are close to like Maryland and Virginia. West Virginia went 55 straight counties to 0 again for Donald Trump's. And those are some big. I'm going to tell you right now, those are some counties. Another state that I'm watching right now, I want to say, not to be mean, New Jersey is a county that I want to watch pretty heavily. Because if you're going by counties, I'm going to say Hillary only won 12 of those counties out of the 21, while 9 of the counties voted for Donald Trump. So that was only a 3-county difference for the Democrats. New York is going to be, even though New York's got the biggest city, most populous city, they only had, out of the 62 counties, only 16 of them went Democrat last election. 46 of them went Republican. So it shows you that a lot of rural areas are much more, the bigger cities are going to be more Democrat biased. But when you get out into the heart of the state, the ones like the farming communities, places where I'm from, you're going to end up with, so far, Kentucky, Indiana's 14,000 to 6,000 so far. And Kentucky, looks like Kentucky's winning 16,000 to about 7,000. So we're not doing too bad. We got a couple of districts that they're close. They're counting the polls right now. We're getting the first elections in so far. Okay, Indiana just updated. It's 19-9. A lot of the polls, it's funny how when CNN says, well, Biden's leading in the polls, Biden's doing this. This sports bettor that I was talking to, or I saw on YouTube, he was actually saying that by the polls that he's been researching, because he does sports betting for a living sometimes. He lives in Texas, but comes out to Las Vegas and all that to do some sports betting, and he's got his own channel. He actually said that he believes Trump's going to win the election just based on the polls that he's been getting, because some of these guys that are doing the polls, like I've been saying for years, of course, Democrats are going to lead in the polls when you're polling people in the cities, which cities are much more Democrat biased than the small farming towns of the Midwest, the Southeast, the Southwest. And it's going to be, so there was this one guy that went through all these different towns, just traveling around throughout the states to do some polls for his research, or do internet and everything like that for his research, and found out that a lot of the polls that he had Trump favored instead of Biden. And that's one thing is a lot of the polls in 2016 didn't count for, is because the fact is they said, oh, Hillary's going to win by a large margin. They didn't take into account the small towns that have been, I felt like they were disrespected by the Democrat Party when they were saying that we were less valued than cities. So it's getting to that point where I'm going to say we're having a lot of issues. All right, looks like Trump 22 or 23,000 to 11,000. I think it's funny because there was one I was looking at, somebody had said that, I was looking at one news article when they were talking about how Trump should be, is Trump going to transition of power? how's the transition of if he loses, the transition of power is going to go. He better not have rile up his troops and all that. I mean, Hillary Clinton did that in 2016 with the people saying, "Not my president." I mean, come on. And yet the Democrats would say, "Oh, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander." That's stuff that I just don't like the Democrats saying, because things that are good for them are not good for others. That's a problem. That really is a big problem, because they want to say, you better have a good transition, but we could do whatever we want. That's not working together in situations like that. So if you guys, Jesse, if you got a question or anything, just shoot me a message if you guys want to. Let's see if I can maybe we'll get these election discussions going on. That way I don't just talk about what's on the news. Let's see. When am I coming to visit Blythe? Maybe not for a while, actually. Living up here, I'm working hard for all the people that know already, I work at Amazon down in right here in Reno, and I've been doing pretty good. I mean, paid a little bit, spending time, a little extra times. We're coming up into the holiday season, so they're going to probably give some more overtime and all that. I think yesterday I took some personal time off. I know after a month you get a little less than 2 hours of personal time a week. So I was able to use about 10 hours worth of personal time yesterday. So I worked Sunday, took off Monday night. I got Tuesday and Wednesday. And then hopefully I've got some, I'm going to check my phone here for a minute. Because I'm going to see if I can try to get some extra time. Dude, I got like several casinos right here in town. I literally have one a block down the road. I literally live right here in downtown, so it's not too bad. Dude, I would say just start applying for like Amazon. They're always looking for either seasonal workers or hiring people. I mean, we had our Prime Week, which we had mandatory overtime, and then we're starting to get into the little bit of a slow lull right now before we'll hit right about, I want to say mid-November. Right now, the temperature up here is here in Reno is, according to my phone, it should be about 73 degrees. So it's really nice and comfortable right now. It usually gets about 30 to 40 degrees at night. So I'm really not worried about the temperatures. Yeah, like I said, man, it's just one of those things. It's just I put myself in this situation up here because I actually have a feeling if Biden wins, this is an essential job. So this Amazon job will not be shut down, and I could just keep working. As a matter of fact, I just did a COVID test last Thursday. Got the results on Sunday myself, and they're free when you work there. So I ended up doing the test and came back negative. I was like, damn. The test came back negative, and I said this. I said, you know what, man? And Amazon, they pay 2 weeks off if you catch the virus. So I was like, first of all, I think I probably, if all else fails, I think I may have already, I've never been to the doctor, been diagnosed, but breaking news, North Carolina results to be delayed after some locations extended voting. Yeah, that's probably because the fact is a lot of North Carolina's results, I would say this. That's probably because the fact is they had a whole bunch of people trying to make it last minute. A lot of people, they've already caught a bunch of people kind of trying to, in Arizona and in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, trying to cheat the ballot system by ballot harvesting and everything like that. To the point where these mail-in ballots, a lot of people, I think I heard there was one instance in California where a guy actually had literally 6 to 7 ballots under his name. So, and he was going to vote Democrat. So it's kind of one of those things. And there's a lot of people there like that will vote Republican as well. So it all depends. It really depends on. That's why I always do in-play voting or same-day voting, because the fact is, I have to say this. It's one of those moments that you just got to, first of all, I get to vote once and I'm done. It's like I said, it's just going to be interesting. National Guard is helping process some ballots in Wisconsin. Due to a printing error, they thought they had 13,500 ballots that had to be transferred onto a clean ballot. It isn't as bad as they thought. Okay. Like I said, it's going to be one of those things. Hold on one second, everybody, because I'm going to grab a little bit of some water here. Like I said, it's going to be a discussion all day on these things. All right, let's see what the live. Trump more important to presidential vote for Trump voters. Candidate's position on issues 82%. His personal qualities 15%. That's pretty decent. I would have to say that's pretty decent because that's what I would expect. A lot of people were more voting on how his position wise. People already know what they're getting with Donald Trump, so I don't think the personal quality is going to be an issue anymore. Like I said, I'm getting this from CNN, so I don't. But here's the thing: Biden's more important to presidential vote. Candidate position 66%. Candidate's personal quality 30%. Is the reason why they voted Biden. Trump voters think the economy is a much more important issue in voting. 62% think the economy for Trump voters. And that's actually, I always told people, crime and safety, 17%, that's a big issue too. 5% coronavirus, 8% healthcare and policies, and 3% for the racial inequalities. Most important issue to your vote for Biden is the racial 36%, coronavirus 27%, crime and safety 6%. That's where the big issue is a lot of people think the economy and crime and safety for Republicans, racial inequalities, and coronavirus on the Democrat side. That's where a lot of the divide is, I'm going to say. But Biden's actually picked up in Kentucky. He's 53% to 44% with about 147 votes tallied. Indiana is 46 or 67% to 31% so far. Luckily, I'm just going to say luckily, it looks like Kentucky's going. Let me look at my stats from the last election. That's kind of interesting because Kentucky was, I would say, primarily Trump the last election. They went 118 to 2. And that might depend on which poll, or if they're getting those votes from just the cities, and they haven't polled or haven't counted the rural areas yet in Kentucky. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be an issue. Those are going to be interesting issues on that part, because so far they're saying Biden's got a 55 to 43% lead in Kentucky. But in the last election, Trump won 118 counties to 2. So I'm wondering are they taking those 2 counties for Biden, or are they? Well, that's 8. Kentucky is 8. That might be interesting, because if that's the case, Biden will take that. That means I'm currently looking at 298 to 240. If that swings. Personally, no, Jesse, this is just a water. It's just in a Fat Tuesday cup. Literally, I stopped drinking back in August, so it's one of those things that I've been drinking a lot of water, a lot of sodas. When it comes to healthcare, my issue with healthcare is the fact is that Joe Biden and Barack Obama put it into effect where it was mandatory healthcare. And to some people, that's a great thing. To me, that actually hurt me more than it did help, because in my personal aspect, I didn't actually I haven't been to a hospital in 12 years, because my stance on it is, if I'm not dying, or if I'm not got a broken bone or a serious emergency, I'm not going to the hospital for like a cold or a flu or something. If I could get up and go and power through it, then there's no reason for me to go to a hospital. But I was getting healthcare, or this healthcare money being pulled out of my paychecks every year or every month, because of the fact is it was mandatory to have healthcare under Obamacare. If you don't have healthcare, it was a penalty through your taxes. And I'm like, I could have used that money personally for things that I actually do use, like rent and food. and not use it on things I don't use, such as health trips to the hospital and all that. So when he says he was going to try to enact Obamacare again, I'm going to say, you know what, that was one issue I don't like Biden on because of that reason. That's one of the reasons. Honestly, there's a lot of things. Looks like I'm getting some polls. This is currently on Google, and they're doing a live presentations right now. New Hampshire's coming in with their votes. New Hampshire's in the lead there. Okay, New Hampshire's right now. Trump is in the lead in New Hampshire, which I actually, Hillary won that state last year or last election, but I actually it was 6 counties to 4 in Trump's favor. So it all depends on how the cities are going to go. Like I said, it's a lot of these elections are how the city, if they're voted, the cities, and most of the cities will vote, and then you'll have the registered voters in the small towns. So currently, if we're looking at it right now, according to this Google map, right now in the lead, Trump has the lead at 15. I'm going to say 15-8 right now. Based on he's leading Indiana, he's leading New Hampshire, and Biden's actually leading Kentucky right now. So that's a 15-8 in favor of President Trump. Kentucky's coming down. It's 52 something. Indiana, he's already over 30,000 votes ahead of Biden. So I actually think he's going to win Indiana again. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very let's see if I can get some more discussion, because this is going to be these are big topics on the discussions. Let's see. Which I actually think, okay, first. All right. All right, let's see. Let's see. See if we can get some. All right, yeah. So far so good. We're uh I heard there's a lot of Senate seats up for grabs this time around. So a lot of incumbents and stuff like that nature. Racial inequality was the only thing that was less. However, Biden. And then here's the funny thing about that is because a lot of people were racial inequality was the number one issue. COVID-19 was the number one issue. And then came the healthcare. Common they care about is health care, and that's an issue Biden's campaign talks about over and over. He talks about the healthcare because of what's going on in yeah. Take it easy, brother. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Looks like Trump's catching back up in the Kentucky polls. He's only about 3,000 away. Okay, 4 o'clock Eastern time. I know I got to catch the bus at 5, so we're going. Okay, key races. Okay, Indiana. Trump is only about 0.6% right now behind in Kentucky. That's what I thought. I thought a lot of the state. All right, all right. So 1,002 votes. Trump. Okay, a lot of the polls are ending. Um, all right, all right. Let's see. And people. All right, all right, all right. Discuss the election. No, and I have a feeling I'm going to end up probably moving to one of these states. Oh, and I'm just kidding on this one. If Joe Biden wins, I'm taking drinking back up. Just saying. But all right, guys. All right, let's see. All right, looks like Indiana's winning. Indiana's winning by a large. Trump's winning a large margin in Indiana. Trump just passed Biden again. Right on. And now, so as I was discussing, we're looking at the states right now. Trump's pulled back ahead about 9,000 votes in Kentucky. Yeah, like I said, I'll probably do another 30 minutes of this live broadcast. Yeah, probably about 30 minutes of this live broadcast talking about the elections before I got to get ready for work and go to work. Been up pretty much most of the day, and still probably got to be up until probably about 4:36, 5 o'clock. So, any responders yet? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let's see if we can do something here. First state polls close in moments in Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, and South Carolina. Honestly, he's right about Georgia. It's about 31. No, hold on 1 second. Let's turn this up a little bit.
It's too early to call in these states right now. Too early to call in Georgia, a key battleground state with 16 electoral votes. Too early to call there in Virginia. Too early to call there 13 electoral votes at stake in Virginia. Also, too early to call right now in South Carolina. 9 electoral votes in South Carolina. Too early to call in Kentucky. 8 electoral votes there. Too early to call in Vermont. 3 electoral votes right there. All right, let's take a look at where the electoral college map stands right now.
So yeah, now since they're closing, right now Trump got the first, according to the polls. Indiana has given up 11. Yeah, we're looking at pretty good a Kentucky race right now.
Electoral votes once again at stake in Kentucky. Let's go to John King over at the Magic Wall right now. We're looking at the suburbs in Kentucky, John. It's pretty significant what's going on potentially. Let's not get too far ahead.
Right. We know that this is disproportionately early vote, but we also know that we learn lessons from states that get. We just projected Indiana. That's the first state 11 electoral votes for Donald Trump. You got to get to 270. He has the first 11. We projected tonight. Now we're looking at Commonwealth, Kentucky, expected to be red. Senator Majority Leader is up for re-election there as well. But again, we're looking for clues, right? When we come here, so Fayette County, this is Lexington, the suburbs around it, Joe Biden. Disproportionately early votes so far. So let's come back an hour and see if this holds up. We'll see if it stays this way. 73% right now. If you go back to Hillary Clinton, only 51%. So if Joe Biden can do this stuff right here, we'll see what's happening. We're going to
stop for a moment. I want to go to Florida. We're beginning to get some numbers in Florida right now. So let's take a look in Florida.
Here we go. Our first vote in Florida again. At this part of the country down here, this more than 8, it's very close to the president. 5%. Florida's a huge state. We're going to be out there for a long time.
Yeah.
First vote out of Florida. Where are they coming from? We come over here, Pasco County along the coast. That's a pretty quick report. Again, Florida, we expect to be good. We also expect to give us a lot of clues about the election tonight, about who might win tonight. 130,000 to 101. This state is absolutely essential to the president. Go by the blanket because they know this is a lot. Let's just go back and take a look. 59%. 59% 4 years ago. 56% right now. If you round it up, that's close. But we're going to watch it. Is it significant? We don't know. So we get more votes. 79% of the vote. That's 79%. We don't know. So you run
Talking.
You start to see the president a couple points below. That will be significant. Maybe look at the vote count. 130,000 to win. Again, a state like Florida, 142,000 net. We're not done yet. Watch this at the end of the night. But these are the markers for right now. Is the president performing? Overperforming? Underperforming? About breaking even with 4 years ago? And how it's still back.
Let's see. I've already had one.
81% are up to there. 57, 42. If you do the rounding there again, we go back in time and we look. 59. So again, a little bit down. Is that significant? We don't know yet. Very early, but it's one of the things for Robert.
I apologize to people.
The president has to win. We know that. The question is he getting the extra votes there? Is he running up the margin because he needs them out in places like this? Offset we expect to get when we get here. Now, this will be key here. Come over here. Along the coast, right here. This is starting out more forward. You go all the way across. Forest County, 54.3. Let's just go back and take a look. 57.8. So again, another county where right now the president is a little underperforming. It's early. We don't know if that holds. But that's what you're going to watch throughout the night, especially in a state that is always as close as Florida. If the president is underperforming where his scope, the question then becomes, can the Democrats overperform? So by overperform where's the trade-off in the map? That's what we'll see as we get more votes in Florida. Let's just talk about what we have. Again, we're back in time. We'll go back to time in 2015. We see, that blue here, we don't have those votes yet. So if you come in here, this is red, as it was 4 years ago. Bring it out to state. Lake County, get this out of the way so it's not distracting. 55 to 44. That's where it is now. 59, 60. So again, there's 3 counties we looked at where the president's numbers right now are down to 8%. Down. If you look at the percentage down, then you want to watch it. Then you want to match up the map. 102,000 votes there.
Like I said, I apologize for all those people that have been watching it, listening to me talk, or haven't heard me talk in a minute. So I'm just texting a few people, see if they want to come over and do my YouTube discussion with me.
Especially inroads in the Latino community, will do something here. We don't know yet, but we'll see.
Right? You really have to do well with those 3 southern Florida counties in order to win this election. We're talking about Miami-Dade, Palm Beach County, everything well.
Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, all about it. Look at them. It's a set out, but I'll say it again. Far the south you go in Florida, you go to the north you get. It's the retirees from the north, senior citizens, electors. You go back and look at it here. This is in the key. Well, it doesn't belong for 4 years, but look how close it was. Look how close it was. 112, 113,000 votes if you round up in a giant state. 49 to 48 if you round that up. And again, if you go back, you see the blue. It doesn't change that much. So let's go back to when see the difference in the margins here. We come down here, Obama gets 61, doesn't get 64. She did her job in this part of the state. That was one of the lessons in 2016.
Trump wins in Indiana, too early to call, in Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Virginia Tech. Oh, Virginia Tech. I got a little college football on the mind on that one. Vermont and Virginia. All right, so we were currently. Well, we can pretty much guarantee that California is going to give 55 electoral votes to Biden because the fact is I don't think they have enough Republican voters in the state to contradict the California. And like I was discussing earlier, it's just one of those things where a lot of major cities have the culture of going Democrat, no matter who the campaign or whoever's running. So Pinellas County went Trump. What was it? Harsborough County, I think it was the Tampa Bay County. Actually, was all right so far. Florida, 803 to 699. Man, he's winning. He's winning by a good 100,000 votes right there, according to the numbers. He's got 17,000 votes ahead in Kentucky. We're looking at a lot of polls. Pinellas County is actually going Biden this year when it was Trump a couple years ago. So there's a lot of swing.
Look, that's one of the great dramas of election night, right? It also could be one of the great frustrations on election night.
Yeah.
You see something like that early on, and you think if you're a Democrat, you think that's it. Will it be after a while, run through it? Great to get excited. People at home should get excited about their candidates, about their side. We've got a ways to go. And again, the key here, does that stay? What's the actual turnout, right? We expect the turnout to be even higher. So we're going to match up the map as we go. And then the big test for me, number one, can the Democrats hold the suburbs here and build, take the 2018 suburbs that made Nancy Pelosi speaker and do it again in these states here. And then how does the president do up here? Does he match his numbers? He might have to exceed his numbers up here with Joe Biden doing well across here. You have a question?
It's interesting. Already more than 1.5 billion votes have been counted in Florida right now. Just to show our viewers, Trump is at 53%, Biden's at 46.1%. He's ahead by 100,000 votes.
He is, and as you say, 1.5 million counted. Just to remind people, we have a ways to go. 4.6 million, 4.5 million. So we're early in the Florida count. Florida is always, I say fun. I don't know what's in this race. If you're a Florida watching at home, you go back and forth on the up and down and all of this work. Look, this is one of those fascinating states because of the diversity, because of the seasons.
Next polls close in about 20 minutes, so we're going to be actually sitting here. Like I said, I'm sitting here watching it just like everybody else. I want to see, by the time the elections, I would say right about my very first break at 8:30 tonight, will be probably a better result than what I can see now. But I know a lot of electoral votes are being counted.
He's won 3 elections by a point. He won 3 elections by a point in the state of Florida. That's the way Florida goes. Twice for governor and once for senate by a point. So we're going to watch this delay. It's one of those fascinating. And again, it also his neighbor. It's almost the reverse when you come to his neighbor, Georgia. This is the South, right? And northern Florida votes like the South. So this part of Georgia votes like the South. It's white, it's rural, it's reliably Republican in recent years. But then we get up here to Savannah, Augusta, Columbus, Atlanta, the suburbs.
Well, I think they got it. I really honestly think they got it wrong. Google got it wrong so far. Because according to this, they say it's Kentucky. He won Kentucky. But CNN saying Kentucky is actually too early to call. But they said Vermont is... They've won Vermont. Right now, I'm looking at Trump's got a lead in Virginia. He's got a lead in Indiana, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, New Hampshire. He has lost, according to Google, he's lost the Virginia the Virginia. I keep saying Virginia Tech. He lost Vermont, and he won Kentucky, but yet CNN is telling me it was the Electoral College or the only Indiana. Trump's won Indiana, which I honestly think it's going to be an interesting election. But I'm going to say this: it's just. I honestly think that Trump's going to win Florida because just because he won Pinellas County, which I think is like St. Petersburg. If he loses then he's going to get a lot more votes now because a lot more. There's been a lot more Latinos in the Miami-Dade County. That's going to actually probably bring him up. Hillsborough County, yeah. Tampa went. Tampa voted for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton last year, and St. Petersburg voted for Trump area. So it's kind of one of those things. Okay, now I'm getting a live feed. I've got Georgia's leading. They're leading in Georgia.
54,157, and again, welcome to Marlon. This Florida. That's why it's so fun. I'm here to take a look. 55 to 44. You round the president's total up there, and then you go back in time here again.
So Virginia is showing Virginia is leading.
Joe Biden at 55. If that's exactly what Joe Biden needs to do. Run a little stronger than Hillary Clinton.
Take a look at the state right now. Biden is just taking the lead. 22% of the estimated vote tally. They do it quickly in Florida. Very impressive. Broward County, that's one part of them. And it's now coming. Look at this in Broward County. Let's look at Broward County.
Welcome to Florida again. 12,000, 75%, 16% of the vote. Again, this is the second largest county in the state. So we're getting a lot of votes out of here. Now, Pasadena, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, 1, 2, 3, and we go through Miami.
We got a lot going on in Florida. We're going to another round of crucial closings of the battleground states, but North Carolina and Ohio were up for grabs just minutes from now. Our special coverage of Election Night in America continues.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting because Kentucky's already got 30. He's about 30,000 lead in Kentucky. New Hampshire. That's why I think it's funny because Google's showing a New Hampshire is going to Trump. Virginia. Basically, Google is, like I said, Google's already has a Virginia Tech won by Biden and Kentucky won by Donald Trump. But yet you look at CNN and they go, Donald Trump's got 11-0 over, and they've only counted Indiana. So it's one of those things. It's just okay. So Florida's got the lead there. Google's showing Florida's got the lead. They haven't changed New Hampshire yet. Virginia's got that's an even run. That's about 500. But they're not counting a lot of the state right now. It's still too early to call. But right now, if Indiana's going to win, I'd have to break it down. Go through the breakdowns and see what they got. But so far, I've got Trump 11-0. Like I said, I tried to do a little live stream about topics, guys, but I apologize if you guys are watching this later than usual. Holy crap, Virginia just boosted up to about 2,800 for Trump. 2,800 votes for Trump. I'm looking at both of the Florida. Biden's got Florida so far, which is a big. I want to say that's going to be a big hit because that went Florida. Florida was a Republican. Went Republican. I have it as a red state. I'm still looking at my own battleground states, which is like New York, Illinois, Virginia, Washington, Maryland. How's the counties, each county going to be voting for? I don't care about the big cities. I think each county should get at least one vote towards the topics. And if that was the case, Trump would have won by like 2,104 counties. I'm just waiting for the counties to finish right now. 43% vote reporting, 51.7 versus 47.6. That's really not the best. Georgia, only 3%. It's probably...
We're back at the CNN Election Center, standing by for the next wave of poll closing. Right now, let's check in on the fight for the critically important electoral votes. Right now, Trump has 11 electoral votes. Indiana, Biden so far has 0. You need 270 to be elected president of the United States. We have a key race alert right now. Take a look at this, see what's going on. In Florida right now, 35, more than a third of the vote is now, yesterday the vote is now in. Biden has a lead of nearly 100,000 right now, 50.7%. Trump's 48.4%. 35% of the estimated vote, once again, is in 29 electoral votes. Look at Georgia right now, very early. Only 2% of the estimated vote is in, but Biden is ahead by almost 32,000 votes, 61.8% to 37% in Georgia, 16 electoral votes at stake. In New Hampshire, less than 1%, very early right now, but Biden is ahead by about 2,300 votes, 72.2% to 27.8%. 4 electoral votes in New Hampshire. In Vermont, also very early. Biden is ahead by about 610 votes. Less than 1% of the estimated vote is in, 67% to 37.3%. 3 more states right now. Let's take a look at Virginia. 13 electoral votes, very early. Trump is ahead of Biden by about 3,000 votes. 69% to 30% for Biden. Very early in Virginia. Also very early in South Carolina. Trump is ahead there by almost 700 votes, 63.3% to 36.7%. And Trump is also ahead in Kentucky, with 15% of the estimated vote in Kentucky is now in. Trump is ahead by about 35,000 votes, 54.1% to 44.3%.
So currently, what they're trying to say is South Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky is going. It's too early to call, but they're going Donald Trump. Georgia, Florida, Vermont, and New Hampshire is going Biden's way.
These would be 2 big ones right there. New Hampshire, Vermont, we expect to stay. Kentucky and Indiana, South Carolina, supposed to be the top. But at the moment, very early, everybody needs to be careful about this. But at the moment, this is what Joe Biden wants to do. He flips these states here. We don't have to wait. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. If they're close, we might have to wait. Especially on Pennsylvania. That could be a day or 3. However, Joe Biden wins that. He'll rest comfortably waiting for that. So let's take a look at Florida as we go through it. Again, this one is always a roller coaster. So what you see now doesn't mean the lead won't change. If you were here last time, it changed as we were speaking. But right now, Joe Biden is 50%. Donald Trump at 49 when you round up. 52,394 difference in a giant state where most candidates got more than 4.5 million votes last time. So we're going to be at this a while. But if you've been Biden campaign, you're looking at this map. Number 1, you're winning Hillsborough County, which is Tampa, you like that. You're winning Pinellas County, which is St. Pete, you like that. That's where you want to be. This is your how you finish. You finish your race in Florida across the I-4 corridor. You get started if you're a Democrat by winning down here. And if you're Joe Biden, you will say this. We're early in the count. This is somewhat concerning. But it could be in the course of 2020. Donald Trump thinks he can do better down here with Cuban, with with other Latino votes, especially Latino men. We'll see if that's the case. Democrats are worried about African Americans in Miami-Dade County. We'll see if that's the case. 84% in right now, 54 to 45. If you go back in time, this is a much bigger win for Hillary Clinton, right? 64% to round up to 34%. So this is something to watch. The Democrats, this is their basket where they need to run it up. So we'll see. If you don't run it up here, you need to offset it somewhere else. That's one of the trade-offs in this campaign. We know Trump may perform better among African Americans, especially among Latino men. Joe Biden's performing better with white, blue-collar workers, and with senior citizens. So we're going to go through the trade-offs throughout the night. But this right now, back to 2020, Joe Biden would like that to be a little higher. We're at 84% right now. We believe most of this is election day voting, today voting here. So we're waiting for early vote as well. That might help Joe Biden. Democrats disproportionately back early in Miami-Dade. We'll see as we go through. We move up to Broward. This is more of what Joe Biden wants. 26%, so it's overperforming at the moment. So we're looking
Yeah.
pull back out. Again, this is going to be a roller coaster by 28,000 votes, right?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
This is again, trademark for this president. Look at the smaller counties, right? You see all that going in red? Not a lot of people live here. Look at it, 184 to 83 there. You come over here, 184 to 207. You take it home, so that's only a few votes. And you've got 10, 15, 20 counties. And you're doing that. 200 here, 20 there, 1,000 there. That's how Donald Trump gets his map in a lot of states with these smaller counties like that.
Yep. It's the small towns that, they're talking about how this is how Donald Trump's won the election last year, is he's winning all these little small counties that don't have the big cities. You think that's just small votes, but you know what? When every county you get 200, there's over 3,000 counties in the United States. And if Donald Trump wins at least, he won, if I'm not mistaken, let me look back at my numbers. He actually won 2,589 counties. Now think about it. If he won that by 200, if he won each county just by at least 200 votes, each little small town or small counties, compared to Hillary's 200 counties, that would have been an extra, let's see, 50, an extra 517,000 votes just for an extra 200 votes each. Let's just put it that way. And there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of white voters that are going against the white that are going for Joe Biden. But it's on the flip side too. You're telling people to get out there and vote, get out there and vote, get out there and vote. When that was been the campaign for the Biden is get out there and vote. And you're having a lot of these white people, they're going out there and voting, but you're also having a lot of blacks too, that blacks and Latinos, from what they're saying, are voting for Trump's side. So it's kind of like the narrative that white people are on Donald Trump's side, blacks and Latinos are on the Democrat side, is actually been flopped, which is kind of interesting. I want to see how this turns out, really. Because a lot of the media have been saying it's going in reverse. Because at this moment, it looks like 49. Yeah. And so far, all right, Virginia, the only one state's called it, and it's Indiana. I am going to check and see this this vote right here. Okay, Florida's 49.9 to 49.2. So Trump needs to win Florida. I have a feeling he does need to win Florida to win the election. I mean, Georgia, as a matter of fact, I think Georgia was a lot closer than what I thought it was compared to last year. 128 to 31. There's a lot of counties in Georgia that will go Democrat, and there was 31 counties. Florida, though, there's only 67 counties in Florida, and there's 159 in Georgia. So going by counties, Florida won 58-9 last year or last election, and Georgia went 128-31. Both of them for Trump. So stealing one of those counties away from stealing one of those states could be a big significant blow if it comes down to it. But I'm really looking towards, okay, we got Vermont's in. Vermont's only 3. Virginia, damn, Virginia. He's almost double. Trump's all got 3,300. I think, didn't I have Virginia as a battleground? Yes, I did. I did actually have Virginia as a battleground state last time because the 13 electoral votes actually went to Hillary when it was like a 58 counties to 37 counties voted for Trump. So I think Virginia, there was a lot more counties that voted for Trump, and I think Virginia's is demographically diverse. It's one of those states that it can be tossed up, and because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 2 states that have primarily minorities in it is Alabama and Georgia. And if Georgia's going, I want to say Alabama might go, but I'm looking at Alabama from last election, 54-13 on the county votes. I'm still debating on it. I'm trying to figure where everything's going because we've got about 2 more minutes. I'm going to talk about the electoral votes. I might do a live feed maybe tomorrow when I get up. Like I said, and talk about what's the discussion for today. So far we've got 120,000 for Florida. There's still a lot of Republicans voting. Georgia. All right. Yeah.
Certainly will. Florida's emerging as a major fight that's going on right now. We're coming up on another critical round of poll closings in the Biden-Trump presidential race. Just moments from now, that's when most polls will close in North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia. Together, those states account for 38 of the 270 electoral votes needed to win elections. All right, we got a few race alerts right now. Too early to call in these states, including in Ohio. Too early to call in Ohio. 18 electoral votes in Ohio. Too early to call. Too early to call in North Carolina as well. 15 electoral votes in North Carolina. Too early to call. West Virginia. 5 electoral votes. Too early to call in West Virginia right now. Let's take a look at the electoral college map where it stands right now. Still remains the same. 11 electoral college votes for Trump, Indiana. 0 so far for Biden. 270 needed to win the presidency. Let's get T-Rex right now. Biden, Florida right now. Let's start 29 electoral votes. Donald Trump has a narrow lead right now with 59% of the estimated vote is in. Look how close it is. Got a lead of about 25,000 votes, 49.7% to 49.4%. This is a must-win for Trump. He must win Florida. Biden were to win Florida, it would be very, very difficult for Trump to get reelected. We're watching Florida so closely. In Virginia right now, very, very early, only 2% of the estimated vote is in. Trump is ahead by about 30 very, very early. Trump is ahead 70.4%, 29.6% in Kentucky. 18% of the vote is in. Trump is ahead by 75,000 votes. 58% to 40.5%. Three more states right now. Let's take a look. Georgia. That looks like it's going to be a battle over there. Biden is ahead with 4%, but the estimated vote is in.
And about 15 votes ahead, 15,000 votes ahead with only 4%. New Hampshire's 3,000 votes ahead with only 2%. That's not bad. That's really not bad. Vermont, yeah, 1%, and they're about 610 votes ahead. So yeah, that's a different. Vermont doesn't have that many people, so it's kind of one of those election talks.
If you wrap it up, if you're looking at the map, it looks like a traditional map. One plus for the Democrats, Dallas County here. One warning sign for Joe Biden as we watch this play out. We've got a ways to go. Remember, 3.4 million votes, 3.4 million votes. 4.6 is when it took to win it 4 years ago. It's going to turn out as higher this year. So we're going to watch this go over here. If you're looking for trouble signs in the Biden campaign, it's right here. Miami-Dade. Again, we have more votes. This is early in-person voting, predominantly on votes. People who showed up to vote in person early before election day. Joe Biden was very narrowly in the second, 9-point lead, but narrow by comparison to where we are 4 years ago. This, that's nearly 30 points. 28.
I just took the lead on Florida.
Let's come back and see what came from now to 534,000 votes there. We're reporting very quickly in Florida. Congratulations to Florida. We got
65% of the voters in
let's see what happened here. We got a big jump in Palm Beach County, 60% to 39%. Remember, a short time ago, President ahead that was running a few hundred votes. So again, we're looking at 60% there, especially if Joe Biden is underperforming in Miami-Dade. We'll go back and check out in a second. If he's underperforming there, got to make it up somewhere else. If you're going to win the state, you know, it's a loss. Right? So you look at Palm Beach County here, 60 to 40, 60 to 39. You come back here, it's a little bit better.
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to say this. I'm gonna have to get off the airwaves for a minute. So it's been about 2 hours since I've been on this. I know I haven't talked. I talked real early in the day. Currently, we're looking at, according to, I'm going to leave it on this note, according to CNN, I'm looking at 11-0 in Trump's favor. Google hasn't declared Indiana yet. They have them leading. But when it came to wins, it's they've got West Virginia's one, Kentucky is one, and Virginia or Vermont has won. Joe Biden won Vermont. Donald Trump has won West Virginia and Kentucky, and then Indiana he's leading Indiana, Virginia, and South Carolina, and Joe Biden's leading Georgia and Florida. So it's kind of one of those. And from what I'm seeing on CNN, Florida is slightly 2%, under 2%. So, all right, guys. My live feed is over. I got to get ready for work. So until next time, this is the Joe Lion. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. I've got a lot of I'll be discussing some sports. I'll be discussing some different hobbies, maybe some news issues, just different things on this channel. I changed the name because the fact is I'll discuss a lot of different options. I might have a little bit of some more fun with the videos. I'll tell you this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you very much for watching. If you guys did, thank you to my buddy Jesse for coming up on the TV or coming up on some of the questions. And I will talk to y'all later. So see you later. Bye.